Today we're making two side dishes. Very easy. Bacon, jalapeno poppers, and green bean casserole. So let's get to it. Welcome back to Cooking with Kayla D. I'm Kayla, and this is my husband Randy. My disclaimer. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, and share. Remember to hit that notification bell so you get all the latest episodes as they release. For your first ingredients, you'll need your jalapeno popper ingredients. It's 4 whole jalapenos. We're going to cut those in half. 1/2 pack of softened cream cheese. 1/2 cup of sharp shredded cheddar cheese. 1 tablespoon of carne asada seasoning. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now, if you don't have carne asada seasoning, don't worry. Here's the recipe. For your asada seasoning recipe, get a small bowl out and mix together a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder, 1.5 tablespoons of dried cilantro, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 3 teaspoons of paprika, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of tarjin. Mix those together and you have carne asada seasoning. But I will also leave links in the description area for both the tarjin and also for carne asada seasoning if you would just like to buy it yourself from Walmart. So let's get to it. First off, what we're going to do is wear gloves, because if you touch jalapeno poppers, that will get in your eyes if you rub your eyes or on your face or anywhere else. So always wear gloves if possible. You're going to slice it down the middle and peel it apart. I like to set it to the side and do it all at the same time. Let's get me another popper out, and I'm going to slice it right down the middle. And yes, I do leave the stems on. It is just easier to use as a small handle as you're eating your poppers later on. Then I want to take my knife and cut across the top there, right underneath the stem. See how you cut there, right underneath the stem? If there's ribs on the side, you'll slice down that, separating that rib from that green part, from the outside shell. Once you have that down on all your poppers, you'll take your spoon and start at the stop of the stem where you cut, and then you're just going to scrape the inside right out, and it will come right out. And forgive me, I thought my camera got this. I thought I got it on camera doing that, but I didn't. But look how easy that was. And I always do it on generally the bag that I got the jalapenos out of from the grocery store. So then I can just roll that bag up and throw it right away into the trash can, and it's just easy cleanup. But the ribs and the seeds should come out very easily. See how nice that is? It makes just a nice little boat. Next, you're going to take your softened cream cheese. Have your shredded cheese ready and your carne asada seasoning. Go ahead and get out your tablespoon of your carne asada seasoning and put that right into your softened cream cheese. Add in your black pepper, and then of course your salt. And then you're going to go ahead and give this a mix, and mix this until it is well combined. And like I said, I'll have links for that carne asada seasoning in the description area. I had actually bought this one and then used it all, and that's when I ended up developing my own recipe for it and just refilling the bottle. So I will also, you saw that recipe, I'll have that recipe in the description area for the carne asada seasoning, as well as a link for the tarjin that is in that is not most common to people, but you can get both of those at Walmart, and generally you can find a Walmart anywhere within the United States and also in most cities in the country of Mexico. So I will have those links down there in the description area. So after you have your cream cheese and your carne asada seasoning well blended, then you're going to add in your extra sharp cheddar cheese, and for some reason it just doesn't taste right if it's not the extra sharp. We have tried it several different ways and we keep coming back to this recipe. It's absolutely delicious. It's smoky. It is not spicy, so do not think this is a spicy recipe. Those jalapenos, once in a blue moon, if there's like a grayish rib looking vine on the outside of the jalapeno skin, it will be a spicy one. But if it is hard and green and it doesn't have any breaks or any kind of shrivelage to it, then it generally will not be spicy at all, just be very flavorful. So just keep that in mind when you are purchasing your jalapenos to get the smoothest, most hardest looking jalapenos if you do not like spicy. And by taking out the ribs and the seeds like we have done here, then you are taking away that heat. Make sure to rinse them well after you do that. That way you don't have any residual heat in there from when you removed it. Then you're going to lay your bacon strips out. Get your filling. You just want to fill it level. Once you have it level and you've got your little jalapeno boat filled like that, you're just going to wrap it up with your bacon. I also like to have a baking sheet ready to go. I line my baking sheet with foil so it's easy cleanup, and then I put a cooling rack on top of it, and then I set my jalapeno poppers right on top of that. That way the oil from the bacon just melts right off and underneath, and my poppers are not soggy and oily. You can go ahead and continue to wrap your poppers in your bacon and fill them up, and then set them onto your baking sheet. You will just continue to do that until you have them all full. And I just do it flat. If you want yours a little bit more fluffy, I would suggest using a whole pack of the cream cheese and overfilling your popper to where it's got like a mountain above it, and then wrapping it. Note though that some of that cheese will end up melting out, and so you won't be eating it all anyway. So that's why I just simplified the recipe like this. There we go. We're finishing off our last one and wrapping it up. And using 4 poppers makes 8 halves. Now, as you can see there, now you're going to stick it in the oven at 350 degrees and go ahead and bake it. And as you can see, this is how I did my baking sheet. I put the foil, I lined it, I set a cookie cooling rack right on top of it, and it fit perfectly into the baking sheet. I will put links in the description area for both of those items I got at Walmart, so you can look those up if you want to get the exact same ones. Then after our jalapeno poppers are done, we'll let them cool 10 minutes, and then they're ready to be plated. As you can see, there they are. They are the most delicious, almost barbecue flavored cowboy style jalapeno poppers we have ever had. Randy begs for these. I don't make them often enough, but I should, as much as he likes them. And we have tried it with thick bacon and regular bacon, and regular bacon is always our go-to. The thick is just too much. And using a whole slice for each half is actually advisable. We've tried it with half slices. It's just not as enjoyable. And then as you're eating them, just throw your stems away. And there you go. There's bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. They're absolutely delicious. And now onto our second recipe, the green bean casserole. For your ingredients, you need a canister of the French onion. You'll also need 2 cans of cut green beans, drained and washed, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. You're going to bake at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. So here is a picture of the ingredients. I'm using coconut aminos instead of the soy sauce, but it is the same thing. So now I've got my bowl, and I've got my can of cream of mushroom soup in there, and now I've got my green beans that I have rinsed and drained, and I'm just going to put both cans in there. If you get those into your bowl, make sure to rinse and drain your green beans, otherwise it's going to have a funny taste to it. I do use the cut ones that come out better. Then you're just going to add in your onion powder and your garlic powder, your pepper and your salt. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our soy sauce. And the reason you don't put too much salt is because soy sauce is salty. Even coconut aminos is salty. So use whatever you use as your soy sauce in this recipe. I do advise to use it, and I do advise to use the Campbell's cream of mushroom soup as well as the French brand for the crispy onions, because without it, it's not going to taste right. It will taste funny. I've tried it all kinds of different ways and leaving soy sauce out, and it always tastes funny. It never tastes good. And I didn't grow up with green bean casserole, but once I had it this way, I could never go to any other way. It just did not taste right. So go ahead and mix these ingredients up. Once you get your green beans well combined and your spices and your soy sauce and that soup all together, after you think it's combined well enough to where it's pretty evenly combined, then we're going to add in some of our crispy onions. And I would say add about 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup of the crispy onions into your bowl. And then you're going to mix those in as well. But you don't want to add more than 1/3 of a cup. You just want a few mixed into your casserole. And make sure to get it well mixed into it so that you have onions throughout it. Once you have it well mixed into it, you'll go ahead and put it into a baking dish. I just used a pie dish, and I lightly sprayed it with some olive oil spray and then poured this directly into it, as you can see here in the video. Then I topped it off with the remaining French onion crispies right onto the top and spread it around evenly. And once I had that completely evenly spread around, I baked it. But what I did is I made a mistake. I didn't cover it, and so my crispy onions got a little dark, as you'll see here in a few minutes. This is why I'm speaking a little early here. Cover it with foil before you stick it into the oven for about 20 minutes. Then uncover it and finish it off for 5 to 10 minutes till your crispy onions are lightly toasted. I did not do that, and some of my onions got a little bit too dark, and you'll see it as we pull it out of the oven. I wish I would have remembered to put the foil on top, but I have lupus, so sometimes I don't always remember everything. But it was okay. It still tasted good, and at least they weren't burnt. But as you can see, they are dark, and they were on the verge of burning had I left them any longer. So please do not do what I did. Use the foil, and then just finish cooking for about 5 to 10 minutes until lightly toasted, but not this dark. But anyhow, they were still delicious. So you go ahead and just serve up your green beans, and now you've got some delicious green bean casserole. And the thing I like about this is it's not just a holiday dish. You can have this all of the time. I even cut the recipe in half because Randy is not a fan of casserole, and I make it for myself as a side, and a half recipe makes 2 side dishes for me for 2 different nights for dinners. And so I like having it all the time. I think it's absolutely delicious. And there you go. You've got your delicious green bean casserole. It was just an absolutely wonderful recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned to the end for some beautiful photos of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me free from the law of sin and death. Romans 8:2.
Our neighbor, Miss Debbie, ended up capturing some beautiful dolphins a couple weeks ago, and I thought we'd share those with you. They were out front playing, and she got a couple of still photos, as well as a video that will be here at the very end. As always, we thank you for being here on Cooking with Kayla D. We ask that if you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, share, and remember to hit your notification bell for all the latest episodes. We hope you come back and enjoy us, and we hope that you enjoy these beautiful photos and videos that our neighbor supplies us majority of the time. If you haven't done so, you can hit the icon here on the left to subscribe to our channel, and the icon here on the right for more delicious recipes. And until next time, we say stay in that kitchen and keep on cooking. God bless, and until next time, goodbye.